The USF IT department gets a boost, the theater department hosts Cougar Classic, and the sports crew talks basketball. All this and more coming up next on College Week.
From the Jeske Fine Arts Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College Week. With Brandon Sandoval, Mary Eggstad, and sports with Brett Geese.
Good morning, I'm Brandon Sandoval.
And I'm Mary Eggstad. Thanks for joining us. The third annual Painters, Poets, and Pavilion exhibit will begin with a poetry reading and reception on December 3rd. P3 is a collaboration of local artists and is being sponsored by the University of Sioux Falls. The poetry reception will be from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Belbus Theater, followed by a reception from 6 to 8 p.m. For more information, visit washingtonpavilion.org.
This past week, Bill Bartell and the IT department spearheaded a program that will bring many new aspects to the USF campus. Joshua Duncan has more on the story.
Here at the University of Sioux Falls, the computer infrastructure is undergoing a little revamping. Bill Bartell, the Associate VP of Information Technologies, says the university's goal for this project is to allow more wireless access on campus.
This project is a very large project. We are replacing our underlying switching infrastructure for the campus. That will increase the campus communication speed by a factor of 10, up to 10 gigabits per second. We are also replacing 60 wireless access points with brand new current technology access points and adding another 40. The intent is that those 40 will bring full wireless access to all of the residence halls on campus.
Along with the one that is already installed in the Jeske Fine Arts Center, there will be 6 more monitors around campus. Bill tells us how these monitors will be used.
We are adding Cisco digital signage to the campus. Just like in the Fine Arts Center in the lobby, you'll see a 40-inch screen there right now that shows College Week episodes and other information. We're adding 6 more locations on campus, and all 7 locations will be able to be coordinated and show weather, schedule of events, stream video. We can do live chapel, live football games, things like that on all of the digital signage locations on campus.
Bill says that another new feature that will be added, along with the 10 times the download speed, will be a program called Show and Share.
Finally, we'll be adding a technology to campus, brand new, called Cisco Show and Share. Show and Share is basically YouTube for academics. An instructor will be able to videotape classes, labs, any other video source that they have available to them. They can put into this YouTube type format. Students will be able to watch the video, watch associated PowerPoint slides if they wish, comment on the video, and the comments will be inserted in place in the video where the student places the comment. And this is designed to increase our capable technology for online instruction.
For USF College Week, I'm Joshua Duncan.
Last Saturday, high school oral interpretation students swarmed the USF campus. College Week Chantel Day has more.
The 12th annual Cougar Classic took place on the University of Sioux Falls campus last Saturday. Daniel Hodges, the tournament director, says Cougar Classic is an oral interpretation competition between high school students in the surrounding area.
Cougar Classic is a high school oral interpretation tournament. It is part of the South Dakota High School Activities Association oral interp season. It's one of the very few tournaments that's run by a college. Most tournaments are run by other high schools, and so we enjoy doing it for high school kids.
Senior Kate Friesen says USF students participate by making the environment more inviting for high school students to compete in the events.
There are a lot of students on the University of Sioux Falls campus that participate. A lot of CST students, majors and minors, come and they judge the performances, and they are runners, running information back and forth, and door checkers, making sure that people don't go into a room when there's a performance happening, people that make coffee, just a lot of different things that students do here. And then high school students come and perform the oral and terp pieces. So there's a lot of people on campus.
Students do not go away empty-handed. Friesen says all finalists receive an award for their accomplishments.
At the end of the day, there are individual medals given out for each of the categories in oral and terp. And they go to the best individual performances. And then there are trophies handed out for the teams that different schools bring who had the best, who had the most number of points.
For College Week, I'm Chantel Day.
Coming up after the break, reporter Joshua Duncan sits down with Representative Jenna Hager. Don't go away.
It's not like we don't know how to party. Yeah, all right, let's go.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just watching some TV.
Awesome.
Really cold morning.
Yeah, but there's nothing good on.
From the Jeske Fine Arts
Hey
Center on the
guys,
campus of
College
the
Week is
University of
on.
Sioux Falls, this is College Week. This is your celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Crosstalk. I'm Joshua Duncan. This morning my special guest is newly elected to the South Dakota House of Representatives, Jenna Hager. Good morning, Jenna. How are you?
Good morning, Josh. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for coming. So Jenna, your life has completely been transformed in these last couple weeks here with your election. What's that been like for you?
Well, the campaign process was going door to door and meeting the people in my neighborhood and my district and basically finding out what their wants are, what their needs are, and it ended up in the result of being elected on November 2nd, so I'm very honored and privileged to serve them.
You are one of the youngest legislators in the House?
I actually am one of the youngest, not the youngest currently serving, but I am the youngest female in state history to have served in the South Dakota State Legislature.
Wow, so you made history. And this was your first election that you went for, right?
This is my first time running. I have always been encouraged and have enjoyed being active in the community and volunteering, but this is my first public servant.
Wow. So what are some things that you did prior to this? Because you really didn't have any, like you said, you didn't hold any public office at all.
I didn't, but something that's so crucially important to a thriving community is being active and volunteering in it. So I would find opportunities either through church or through different neighborhood events to go out and volunteer and be part of it.
Wow. So what's something that when you woke up one day that you said, I want to run for public office? How did you get there?
I actually, it was after the Republican-Democrat filing deadline, that I realized that these two incumbents were running unopposed, unchallenged. They would be automatically given the seat. And I realized also that in my 15 years of living in the district, not one elected official had come to my door and asked me what my opinions or beliefs are, or anyone in my family. So what I did is I started my petition process running as an independent, is I went around to the neighborhood and I asked them to see if there was a need. I asked anyone if they had ever had people come up to their door and ask them what their views are. Many of them said no, they didn't even know who our elected officials were.
So out of doing that, is that how you came up with your 3 issues? Public safety, the economy, and what was the other one?
Public safety, education, and the economy. I go up to doors, and we're also frustrated with our economy at a national level, and it brings it down to South Dakota as well. Many of us haven't had raises for 2 or more years.
Wow. So what was your family's response when you said, I want to run for public office?
I got so much support from everyone. It was encouraging, and I'm so thankful to them. Everybody kind of would put on their boots, and we'd all go door to door, and we would just talk to the people and find out what they had to say.
So what was your campaign strategy in that, other than going to door? How much did you spend on ad campaigns and things like that?
I did fundraise over $10,000, so a lot of people did show their support for me. But I was able to go to these doors, and we talk about communication, we talk about accountability, we'd also talk about servanthood, because each of those are key to being able to truly serve the people you represent.
Wow. So when you go to Congress next year, what's one issue that you want to see tackled for the state?
When I go to the state legislative session in Pierre in January, our number 1 priority will be being able to balance the budget. We need to keep education well funded.
How well do you think it's going to work with the new governor and the legislature? How do you think they're going to work together in that process?
I think we'll work together great. That's a privilege I have of being an independent, is I can work with both the Democrats and the Republicans. And we'll figure out a plan to make the budget work and to make our programs work as well.
Do you see yourself doing, as far as long term, what do you see yourself doing?
Long term, I see myself being active in the community in whatever role that may be.
So Jenna, being actively involved in the community, what does that look like for you? Now that now you're South Dakota representative, what does that look like for you?
Primarily communicating with the people in my district, the people who voted me into the state legislature. That can be going through out to school functions, just finding ways to meet people, even walking the doors of the neighborhood in the same process that they elected me in, which was just one-on-one communication, one at a time. It was time-consuming this past summer and fall, but it led us to so many great conversations, and people have so many great ideas.
And you won 38% of the vote, is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you find that most of your support came from younger people because you're a young person? You're, 24 years old?
Yeah. I think people of all ages saw that I could bring energy, and I was willing to work for them in a very positive way. I had a very positive message all throughout my campaign, and I think people were excited to see that a young person was involved and cared about the community in the way that I do, and I think that's why I was elected.
Did the other candidates, did they put out negative ads like they usually do towards the end about you?
That typically doesn't happen in state legislative races, and I don't believe it happened in my race at all.
That's really good, because you seem like a really nice person.
Thank you.
So as far as what's the future look like for you, though, as far as you doing more public service things? Do you see yourself staying with the South Dakota legislature? Do you want to go on to be a state senator, or what do you want to do?
Well, as of right now, South Dakota is obviously my home, and my great-grandparents actually came to America 100 years ago. They built the house that I live in today in my district. Wow. But the first thing we need to concentrate on right now is the next legislative session and how we can work best for people, how we can balance the state budget. We have a lot of work to do in the present, so we need to make sure we can do the best for our state that we possibly can, and then we can look for the future. And right now, I'm not sure what my future holds, but I will stay true to my promise of working hard for the people of District 15 and the whole entire state.
And you said one thing you found with District 15 was the safety. What safety concerns do you want to tackle there?
We have a lot of public safety issues in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls, and actually primarily even District 15. We do need to keep our streets safe. We have some schools in my district, and we need to make sure that children are safe in their neighborhoods and schools.
What area is District 15 located in? I'm not familiar with that area.
It's actually the whole downtown area. Most of the population is around the cathedral, which is very beautiful and being renovated now, and then it actually follows 12th Street to both interstates 229 and 29.
Now, did you go after you were elected? Did you go door to door and thank the people that supported you, especially in your district?
I actually did. I would go and put thank you notes on each of their doors and knock on them again.
Wow, wow. That who does that? I mean, as far as you don't hear many campaign people doing that, going door to door afterwards. They may put out a big thank you, but I think you've got a great future in that, with that connecting with people, because that's key. People want to be able to connect with their senator or their legislature. What do you find is something that you're going to be able to do as far as with the city's situation, as far as the economy?
Well, what I wanted to do when I would talk about my message of accountability is I would tell them, would you please let me know what your interests are before I go out and before I vote in Pierre, because I don't want to go out with my own personal agenda. I want to go out representing you personally. And so I would like to know what you believe first. I want to be held accountable in the ways that you think we should vote and what issues are important before we go out to Pierre and we make these laws. As far as the economy goes, if we can have lower taxes, we'll be able to create more jobs and bring smaller businesses to South Dakota and make it thrive that way.
Is there a way for people to get in touch with you as far as sending out their issues or their concerns, or telling you how to vote?
Yep. I have a website, jennahager.com, and you can email me on that website. I also gave my personal cell phone number out to all my constituents.
Did you get a lot of calls?
I did get some phone calls, and I got a lot of emails too.
Wow. Well, Jenna, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Next up is Sports with Brett Geese.
Come take the journey of the Jeske Fine Arts Building. There are many different paths the journey can take you on. The first path is in art, where you can dabble in drawing, painting, or photography. The second path is theater, where you can showcase your passion for acting. The third path is music, where you can showcase your talents in choir or band. The last path is media studies, where you can be a star on television or on radio. If this is the journey you are looking to take, come to the Jeske Fine Arts Building, located on the great University of Sioux Falls campus.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls. Proud to be with you the whole way.
And now it's time for sports with sports reporter Brett Geese.
Brett, we had some cross-country action and some football action. I mean, how do you manage to do all this?
That's a good question.
All right.
Last weekend, the University of Sioux Falls sent freshmen Billy and Bobby Bruckmuller and junior Ashley Unruh to the NAIA National Cross Country Meet in Vancouver, Washington. Unruh finished in 49th place with a time of 18 minutes, 51 seconds, which is one of her fastest times this season in the 5,000 meters. She improved her time by a minute from last year, on her way to placing 67 places better. Billy finished in 26 minutes and 58 seconds for 137th place, while Bobby finished 56th with a time of 26 minutes and 8 seconds in the 8,000 meters. The race ended the season for both the men's and women's teams. Overall, the Cougars had 3 all-conference runners, 6 Daktronics scholar athletes, and both the men's and women's bettered their placing at the GPAC Championships. With their win last Saturday, the University of Sioux Falls football team advanced to the second round of the playoffs. USF defeated Northwest Oklahoma State University 33-14 while relying on their defense to pull them out of a poor start. On their first 2 possessions, USF lost the ball due to a pick six and a fumble. Lucky for us, senior defensive back Joe Moen caught an interception, and senior defensive end Antonio Turner recovered a fumble to end 2 scoring threats for the Rangers. On the offensive end, senior running back Siobhan Walker gained 90 yards on the ground on his way to a 2-touchdown performance. And it was junior wide receiver Michael Hicks through the air who caught 7 passes for 94 yards and a touchdown. Up next is McKendree University, who is ranked 12th in the nation, boasting a 9-2 record. They defeated the 6th-ranked McPherson College 38-14 to advance to the second round. The Bearcats have 3 players who have rushed for over 500 yards, so the defense will be forced to stop a dangerous running attack all day. Game time is scheduled for noon today at the Sanford Sports Complex. And now I'll kick it over to Sam Tassad, who has an inside look at women's basketball.
We sat down with head women's basketball coach Travis Trapphagen to discuss what team expectations mean to him and his outlook on the season.
It's what you put on yourself. I think our kids have high expectations for themselves. Being ranked 4th, what does that mean? We still have to try to get to that upper echelon. We've had the Northwesterns and the Morningsides. In the past, that's have kind of dominated, the GPAC. So hopefully it's our turn here this year.
The women's team returns 4 or 5 starters as well, but according to Coach Trapphagen, this team will be a lot different than last year's.
Last year, I think we were very post-driven. We really wanted to get the ball inside to Betsy and Jamie Hofer. This year, you'll probably see we're a little bit more balanced. We brought in some other kids as well, a little bit bigger kids, on the wings that, hey, we can really shoot the 3 this year. We can go inside. And I think that's what makes us hard to guard is when we can play inside and outside.
And with the new style of play and new players, it might take some time to be at full strength.
I think we're still learning about each other a little bit. Our flow our offensive flow wasn't quite as good as what I would have liked for this first weekend. But still, when you beat the 8th-ranked team in the country on Saturday, you can't have too much that you got to be worried about.
With that being said, it looks like Coach Trapphagen is ready for an exciting year.
All in all, of any year I've been here, this is starting my 3rd year as head coach. I really feel great about the talent level where we're at, the cohesiveness of our kids, and they're really playing hard. They're very active, and you know what? At the end of the day, you just hope you make more baskets than your opponent.
The women's basketball team will be in action today against Valley City at 4 o'clock p.m. With College Week Sports, I'm Sam Tasted. Now back to you in the studio.
College Week's resident movie critics Brandon Sandoval and Alex Bainey sit down to discuss the recent release of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Movie Moment. I'm Brandon Sandoval.
And I'm Alex Bainey.
Today we are reviewing the Warner Brothers movie Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Alex, what did you think of the film?
I thought the film was really good. I thought it had a good balance of a lot of action, kind of a lot of action and suspense, and I thought it was just a good balance of everything in there. So.
Yeah. Well, and what I liked about it, I really am a purist to the books. Any book to movie, I'm just like, oh, they left out so much. And so from that standpoint, there was a lot left out and they assumed some things, but at the same time, the fact that they're cutting it into 2 films, two installments, I think really is going to help add a lot of things from the movie, or from the books. And so, movie standpoint, great movie, you're right. The effects were brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And the acting, compared to the first one, it is out of this league now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They have matured so much in front of us on screen that it's remarkable, really, watching them in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and then watching them now.
Definitely. So, but yeah, I liked it. It finally got switched to a PG-13 movie instead of the PG from before. It added a little bit more to it. They were allowed to do a lot more than the PG ones where you held back a little bit. So PG-13, doing that and stuff.
There were honestly some scary moments. I'm not gonna say it's a horror film by any means. Don't get me wrong. But if I was a parent, I would think twice at this moment about bringing my child if they were, say 10 or something. Because there are a few moments where it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I jumped out of my seat at a couple points, but I'm not going to give them away, but I definitely jumped out of my seat.
Definitely.
And it was for good reason, because it was like...
Well, it was effective.
Yeah,
it wasn't
definitely.
just gratuitous or something. It was there for a reason.
I thought it was a good choice not to do 3D in this movie.
Definitely.
So,
not jumping on the 3D bandwagon definitely helped
helped
them
them. It was a good
on
decision.
that.
So,
how many stars would you give it?
Overall in this movie, I would give it probably a 4-star. Just because of all the elements that it had and how much it was just put together so well. And even though it was a part 1, they didn't end it with too much of a huge climax, and it was pretty good at the end. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. They left it almost on a perfect note. Like when it ended, the whole theater was like, oh, and I was like, what? You gotta know what's coming. They're gonna leave you on some type of cliffhanger.
Exactly.
And they did it perfectly. I'd say, overall, given the improved acting and all that, I would give it a 4-star as well. I know that Schlenk's not gonna like that we're agreeing so much.
Yeah.
But you can't deny this film had a lot of power.
Exactly.
And so 4 stars it is.
Yes.
Can't wait for the part 2
No,
installment.
I can't wait either, and that'll be next summer. So
yeah.
it's coming up actually pretty soon. So.
And that wraps up another edition of USF Movie Moment. I'm Brandon Sandoval.
And I'm Alex Paney.
Back to you in the studio.
And that wraps up another edition of USF College Week. I'm Mary Eggstead.
And I'm Brandon Sandoval. Have a great day.
And now on to USF men's football, where it seems like there's always oh no. Well, I guess we're going to continue now. It seems like there's always a player being named the GPAC Offensive Player of the Year. Ryan is the leading receiving of touchdowns on the team for the Cougars. I'm so sorry. Ryan has caught 21 touchdowns on the year to break the school record. Before the women's Cougars opened their conference schedule, they took on Waldorf College. Friday's game was the meeting between the two. Let's check out the highlights. Their Cougars had the ball on the outside. She shoots a 3, and it's no good, but they get the rebound, and she passes it to the outside, kicks it back out, and she drives it into the lane, kicks it down low, and it's good. Later on, she gets the ball, shoots a 3, and boom goes the dynamite. The Cougars continue the offensive...
Well, Slayer, thanks for that lovely insight on sports.
Yeah.
USF College Week Sports.
We won't fail you like the boom goes the dynamite guy did.
Because like our football team,
we're champions.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls, proud to be with you the whole way.